Welcome to a new attempt of being constant on YouTube. I think I don't even want to count. Okay, so we will try some ASMR, and I'm not sure how that goes. Would you say this is a soft spoken? By the way, if you have something rude to say, go away, we don't want to know. I would say this is whispering for me, but I don't like it. And it hurts my throat. So I will read to you a bit. Literally, I feel like 5 pages, because if not, the video will be super long, which might be actually a good thing. We shall be reading Emma by Jane Austen, shall we? And if there are pronunciation mistakes, do correct me in the comments, but don't be rude, as English is not my first language. It's not as an excuse just for you to go away if you think of making a rude comment, It's just like, I speak more languages than you do, so don't be a hater. I'm joking. Definitely I speak, but I do anyway. Okay. Jane Austen teased readers with the idea of a heroine whom no one but myself will much like. But Emma is irresistible, handsome, clever, and rich. Emma is also an imaginist, on fire with speculation and foresight. She sees the signs of romance all around her, but thinks she will never be married. Her matchmaking maps out relationships that Jane Austen ironically tweaks into a clearer perspective. Judgment and imagination are matched in games the reader too can enjoy, and the end is a triumph of understanding. Somehow, the reflection of the... No, I look too much like a teacher. Okay. Chapter 1. Emma Woodhouse, handsome, clever, and rich, with a comfortable home and happy disposition, seemed to unite some of the best blessings of existence, and had lived nearly 21 years in the world with very little to distress or vex her. She was the youngest of the 2 daughters of a most affectionate, indulgent father, and had, in consequence of her sister's marriage, been mistress of his house from a very early period. Her mother had died too long ago for her to have more than an indistinct remembrance of her caresses, and her place had been supplied by an excellent woman as governess, who had fallen little short of a mother in affection. 16 years had Miss Taylor been in Mr. Woodhouse's family, less as a governess than a friend, very fond of both daughters, but particularly of Emma. Between them, it was more the intimacy of sisters. Even before Miss Taylor had ceased to hold the nominal office of governess, the mildness of her temper had hardly allowed her to impose any restraint, and the shadow of authority being now long passed away, they had been living together as friend and friend very mutually attached, and Emma doing just what she liked, highly esteeming Miss Taylor's judgment, but directly chiefly by her own. The real evils, indeed, of Emma's situation were the power of having rather too much her own way, and a disposition to think a little too well of herself. These were the disadvantages which threatened alloy to her many enjoyments. Must Google that word. The danger, however, was at present so unperceived that they did not by any means rank as misfortunes with her. Sorrow came, a gentle sorrow, but not at all in the shape of any disagreeable consciousness. Miss Taylor married. It was Miss Taylor's loss which first brought grief. It was on the wedding day of this beloved friend that Emma first sat in mournful thought of any continuance. The wedding over, and the bride people gone, her father and herself were left to dine together, with no prospect of a third to cheer a long evening. Her father composed himself to sleep after dinner, as usual, and she had then only to sit and think of what she had lost. Page number 1. So much text. Okay. The event had every promise of happiness for her friend. Mr. Weston was a man of unexceptional character, easy fortune, suitable age, and pleasant manners. I would love, by the way, to look at you. However, no, I will lose my rope. I did. Let's continue. Let's start again. Mr. Weston was a man of unexceptional character, easy fortune, suitable age, and pleasant manners, and there was some satisfaction in considering with what self-denying, generous friendship she had always wished and promoted the match. But it was a black morning's work for her. The want of Miss Taylor would be felt every hour of every day. She recalled her past kindness, the affection of 16 years, how she had thought and how she had played with her from 5 years old, how she had devoted all her powers to attach and amuse her in health, and how nursed her through the various illnesses of childhood. A large debt of gratitude was owing here, but the intercourse of the last 7 years, the equal footing and perfect unreserve which had soon followed Isabella's marriage, on their being left to each other, was yet a dearer, tenderer recollection. It had been a friend and companion, such as few possessed, intelligent, well-informed, useful, gentle, knowing all the ways of the family, interested in all its concerns, and peculiarly interested in herself, in every pleasure, every scheme of hers, one to whom she could speak every thought as it arose, and who had such an affection for her as could never find fault. How was she to bear the change? It was true that her friend was going only half a mile from them, but Emma was aware that great must be the difference between a Mrs. Weston, only half a mile from them, and a Miss Taylor in the house. And with all her advantages, natural and domestic, she was now in great danger of suffering from intellectual solitude. She dearly loved her father, but he was no companion for her. He could not meet her in conversation, rational or playful. The evil of the actual disparity in their ages, and Mr. Woodhouse had not married early, was much increased by his constitution and habits, for having been a valetudinarian all his life. This means someone, I think, that cares a lot for their health. Over careful of their health. He was that all his life. Without activity of mind or body, he was a much older man in ways than in years, and though everywhere beloved for the friendliness of his heart and his amiable, is that how you put the accent, temper, his talents could not have recommended him at any time. Her sister, though comparatively but little removed by matrimony, being settled in London, only 16 miles off, was much beyond her daily reach, and many a long October and November evening must be struggled through at Hartfield before Christmas brought the next visit from Isabella and her husband and their little children to fill the house and give her pleasant society again. We are already past 5 minutes, and it's been only 2 pages. Thank you so much for stopping by, and I'm gonna go read this book now because it really catched my interest. Have a lovely time wherever you are, and I shall see you in the next video, and take good care of yourself.